And what happened in Washington D.C.? If it's so easy to take down Washington D.C., the capital, supposedly the most secure place in the United States of America, if it's so easy to do it, what's to stop Russians? What's to stop China? What's to stop any nation from taking down the capital? Okay? If American citizens can just do whatever the fuck they want, okay, and just storm the Capitol and take it over while the Capitol is in session. This is an insurrection. This is treason. This is a coup d'etat, and Donald Trump is the leader of it. Why is this man not in custody? Why aren't these people not in custody? Why are these people tear gassed? Why are these people shot with rubber bullets? Why are innocent citizens being shot down inside of the Capitol worker? Innocent citizens and innocent workers have been killed. Why are these clowns inside of the Capitol parading inside of there? Why is militia allowed to get inside the Capitol? Why are the officers, the police officers, assisting citizens in getting inside the Capitol? This is a criminal action. And why is this even allowed? Now, I will say this. They may get in the building, but are they going to allow them to get out the building? That's the question. Why are there not helicopters? Why are there not? The police has so many different resources. So I want to know why the National Guard and the police haven't nipped this thing in the bud, why they haven't taken care of it before it even grew to this level. They didn't have intelligence. They didn't have anybody on board. Are you telling me that Donald Trump has his people in key positions that is able to allow this to happen in the Capitol? Is this what is up? So once again, this is ridiculous. This is something that's unacceptable, and the whole world is seeing it, and I'm going to speak on it. This has to be nipped in the bud, and now. And I don't want to hear shit. This is 2021. This ain't no fucking 60s. This ain't no fucking 50s. Okay? Fuck that. And I was listening to all of these the members of Congress, coming on the board and trumping up all these fucking charges that are bullshit. They're talking about how the courts have been subverting the legislature, but the fucking courts are the legislature. You fucking idiot. The courts are part of the legislature, and courts can rule on the legislator. So all the trumped up bullshit I was listening to in Congress and in the Senate, it's bullshit. All of these fucking Republicans coming to the floor. But Pelosi has been so decent. They have been allowing them to air themselves out there. They've been allowing bullshit to happen too long. They've been too benevolent. And now this shit happens? This is shit that people are supposed to be put away for years in federal jail. These are federal crimes. And the people who participated in it need to be held. This is domestic terrorism. These fucking assholes are domestic terrorists. How? I don't understand. How can crowds of people be in areas where they're trespassing? How could crowds of people be inside of the Capitol building? Crowds of people. I'm seeing this on the television. I can't even believe what I'm saying. I can't believe what I'm saying. Unacceptable. Okay? Unacceptable. And we ain't even going to talk about race. We're not even going to talk about race because that's bullshit. What these people are doing right now, what they're doing in the Capitol building, and we know why it's happening, right? It's because the 2 Georgia seats in Georgia have gone blue. And Black Lives voted. And Black Lives Matter. And this is a civil war based on Black Lives Matter. Except 70% or more of the population from these elections, it shows that 70% or more of the population supports Black Lives Matter, supports equity, supports the balance of power. Okay? And it's all over different states now. The United States of America is not the same. And these white supremacists, these fucking assholes, should never have this country. There shouldn't even be a delay in the United States of America in terms of judgment or in terms of anything. And they should not even be inside the Capitol building. I know it's a long game of chess, but the point is, these motherfuckers need to get out that fucking building. They need to, blast their ass. Let them feel the power of the United States of America. Blast them. Shoot them. These are the motherfuckers that need to be tear gassed. Tear gas their ass. The right to protest is okay. But when you are protesting and it turns into an insurrection, take it down. And take it down fast. What the fuck are they doing inside of Congress or the Senate? What the fuck are they doing in there? Why is it the few, the minority right now are holding the country to ransom? Why the fuck is that happening? That is unacceptable. And we have already marked the congressional people who have been part of this undemocratic process. And we've also marked the fucking senatorial people who have supported this shit. I remember back in the 60s when, they blacklisted people who said they were pro-communist. You motherfuckers are blacklisted. You are blacklisted and your political days are over. And anybody who supported that insurrection, I don't care in what capacity they supported it, they should be jailed. They should be locked up and due process. There's certain things to preserve democracy that are necessary. I don't care about race right now. This has nothing to do with race. This has everything to do with the democratic process. Every motherfucking thing to do with the democratic process. I'm sorry about my expletives. I held my peace, but my peace is over. Okay? This is bullshit. And no, I don't want to hear about kumbaya and all that bullshit. This is democracy we're talking about. And these fuckers are trying to weaken the democracy. And fuck Donald Trump. Get his ass, fucking get him out of there. Remove him from DC. He can say whatever he wants elsewhere, but get that motherfucker out of DC now. Not only is his action one which should have been, he should have been impeached a long time ago, which he was, but that impeachment should have gone through. But secondly, this motherfucker is literally insurrecting, and he's literally undemocratic right now. And I don't give a fuck what he says right now. Somebody should remove him from office. Both whoever are Democrats or Republicans on the Senate and congressional floor need to vote to get his ass out of there. I don't care what he need to do legally, work it and get his fucking ass out of there. They're going to ride through the next couple of days. There's only a couple of days left, 2 weeks probably. But nonetheless, get his fucking ass out of there. He can say whatever he wants to say and hit him with litigation once he comes out of office. Right? Get this motherfucker out of America. Because he has only weakened America, and this fucking asshole needs to get out of here. I don't have no respect for that fucking fool, and I don't care about him. He's an evil, demonic son of a bitch. Okay? Get that motherfucker out of there. And because let me tell you something. You see how these people stormed the White House, stormed Congress, which is the principal seat of democracy. You see what they done? Let me say this. If he stays in the White House 1 second too late, I don't care what militia come up in that White House. I'm going to tell you this. Once his duration is over, all so-called loyalists to him, I don't care who's in the way, they're going to get plowed the fuck out of that office. What you plant, you will reap. And he sowed some real shit. And he going to reap some real shit. This election was fair, it was free, and it was correctly done. And I don't want to hear no more bullshit. I listened to a ton of bullshit today from Congress. The Senate, the people who stood for democracy, they spoke correctly. But in Congress, I heard a lot of shit. I heard bullshit about Arizona, which is bullshit. It's just that. Because even if you remove, it's about 30,000 votes. It's not 30,000 votes, first of all. But even if you remove the late ballots, the people who came in after the deadline. And remember, it is a court that ruled that those ballots could be at the extended deadline, just like any other motherfucking state out there. But even so, even if you take those extra ballots out of the equation, the state is still going to be Joe Biden's. And that's Arizona. And I want to say this other thing, because I'm tired of fucking lies. And the day of reckoning is going to come. I'm going to say this. I was watching this election and I was watching how things are proceeding. And the people keep on accusing the Democrats in Republican-led, Republican-governed fucking states. They keep on accusing the Democrats of gerrymandering when these motherfuckers been gerrymandering and trying to gerrymander and trying to bully people into doing other things. And this right now in the capital exactly shows exactly what they're doing. Because they don't respect the voters. They don't respect the majority of Americans, which we're talking about 70 plus percentage of Americans in America right now support Joe Biden and what he has done. And so I don't care if it's junior Republicans or whoever came into the Congress. I was listening to the Congress particularly. I don't care who they are. You do not hold a country to hostage because you feel injustices have happened. And that can carry on in a separate case otherwise. And let's not talk about all the fucking voter suppression these fucking ass Republican racist motherfuckers been doing in states for decades. So I don't want to hear that bullshit. I don't want to hear it. So I don't care what Arizona says. I don't care what they say about Philadelphia. I don't care what they say about Georgia. I don't care what they say about Wisconsin, and I don't care what they say about the other state, Michigan, because they have no facts, and they haven't spoken about inside of those given states, the different counties, and how the different counties have been doing this shit as well. It's been consistent throughout the county sometimes. So I don't want to hear that. Can they look at forensic reports and closer observation of certain things if they so wish? Because they've been changing rules on the stroke of a dime. They've been changing rules of the scope of that, and states have the capacity and they have the ability to do that from election to election. But what I'm going to say, and I'm 100% behind, is the fact that this, which just happened in Washington, D.C., and people's lives have been in jeopardy and some people have been hurt very badly. No way fucking hell. Fuck that. Ain't nobody supposed to attack the Capitol like that. If states feel that DC is doing things that do not appropriate or agree with what they think, it's in their best interest to do business with each other. And they can keep DC out of the loop. It's simple like that. But what these people are trying to physically do is show tyrannism and bullyism, and it's Trump dictating that. And that motherfucker, I mean, destroy that motherfucker's ass. Destroy him. Destroy him. Ain't nobody stepping up to democracy and trying to do that. And I know he's pro Putin, and I know Putin is dictating it to weaken America and to make it look bad in the worldwide eye. But the people of the world, we're not fools. We're watching everything. We're not fools. We know exactly what's going down, and we knew he was going to try to do this. What I'm amazed at is the response to it in DC, but in a way showing the potential of evil that this man is about and his followers, and it's not the majority of Americans. It is not the majority of Americans. We're talking about 30% at most. And now, I want to speak to the people who voted this fool into office. I want to speak to you. A lot of you guys out there are decent people. You're not these assholes in Washington, D.C. who tried an insurrection. Okay? A lot of you are decent people. There are different people who supported Donald Trump. Now, he has a core base who doesn't have a problem resorting to violence. The guys, and we're talking about the people who also were responsible for domestic terrorism with the Oklahoma City bombings back in the 90s. These are the same kind of people that we're talking about, okay? And some of these people are wicked people. They're not on no beat. They're not no good people. They wicked people. The people who started and planned this insurrection are not straight shooters. A lot of those guys, they call them the Proud Boys or whatever they think they are. This is a trial run to do again. They're going to try it again. This is just the first phase. And so this shit needs to be met with immediate and intense. Okay, let's put it this way. Let's just take the complexion of the people and flip it around. And can you imagine a couple hundred black people doing this? They ain't going to even get to that point. It's never going to even get to that point. Okay? So they would have snuffed that shit out before it even started. So why aren't they doing it now? Don't let these fuckers play like that. They're making a buffoonery of your democracy. This is something that should be met by immediate. There's no such thing as excessive force right now. Immediate and intense suppression. This is where suppression comes in. This revolt should have been snuffed out from the moment. So, the National Guard was on guard, and yet the National Guard couldn't suppress this. You have all this intelligence, and they couldn't suppress this. So, this is a no. This is a no. And I just wanted to speak on that because everybody in the world's watching this shit. They're watching to see how obviously the democracy worked. The democracy worked 100% in Georgia. Basically, Donald Trump fucked up his own party and their voting apparatus. And Georgia was won again by the Democrats because the Democrats will, you tell people that the voting process is not well, what do you expect? You expected any other outcome? You expected any other outcome? And even in spite of all the voter suppression tactics and people being disenfranchised from voting, people came out and they voted. In other words, the statement was, no, you don't stop us. And yes, the system works. And no, you're not stopping this. And people were determined to turn over the vote into the hands of the people. They were going to be heard. And I would not be surprised the next election in the next 2 years will be a landslide in the direction of the blue states as a response to this insurrection that happens, that prevents people from freely expressing their political opinion. And I will not be surprised, and we must mark, listen, we must mark those people who contributed to these heinous acts with trumped up charges which were lies. They are part, I'm talking about the members of Congress who did this. They aided and abetted in this. They contributed to this. And they must be marked. And come next election, they must be removed from office. I don't care who you replace them with. Once it's not a person along those same lines of thinking, they may be Republican, they may be Democrat, but they must be removed from office completely. And more importantly, Trumpism must be destroyed. He is now the public enemy of the United States of America. We have an ally, Vladimir Putin, in the office, in the seat of the presidency, and has been so for the longest while. And while Mike Pence has tried to work with this man, Mike Pence, he is also opposed to what was happening. What's important for people to understand, and I would not be surprised, the Senate and Congress will resume either tomorrow or tonight. But what is most important for people to understand is that this sort of fuckery, no. You want to proceed to invalidate DC and what it is doing and the politicians are doing, that's not the way to go about doing it. Absolutely not. It's up to the states to decide that. But what is being done in the Capitol by both the Republican, certain Republican members of the Republican Party, as much as the precedent, it's important, that's what's documented in the precedent, is how this has been dealt with, because we all knew it was coming. So how is this handled and how is this dealt with? And if now I'm gonna say this because a lot of people ain't gonna like what I'm gonna say, but I'm gonna say it. If you could allow white people to do that in the Capitol, believe you me, you never know if what's gonna happen next may be a Democratic Party doing something like this, with Black Lives Matter being the people pushing the insurrection. See, all they can see is precedent with white people doing this crazy shit. But you don't get it. You don't get it. You're setting a precedent where the worst possible horror you could think about happens. Because what you're saying is, oh, DC's easy. DC's an easy target for any foreign interest. Because all you need to do is have some disenfranchised Americans on your side, and you can do this. You can get a successful insurrection and coup. This is a coup. This is a coup. And we're watching a coup play out in front of our hands. And the current president of the United States is the leader of the coup because he's the leader of the insurrection. And he and they need to be put into prison, in hard labor, federal prison, all members of the coup. The people who are not part and parcel of that coup would be people who are not, as they saw insurrection happening, as they saw people start to insurrect and actually go into the Capitol building and actually shoot and kill people and start to attack inside the Capitol building. When that began, you need to get your ass out of there, because it's no longer a peaceful protest. It is now an insurrection. And so if you don't realize that shit, you should be arrested and you should be taken into custody. I don't care how many of them, they all should be arrested. All. There's nothing like, oh, these are poor people. Fuck that. That's an insurrection. Otherwise, what you're telling nations of the world and what you're instructing fellow enemies of the United States of America is, oh, it's that easy? Really? Okay. It looks like it looks like we could just lick up. You're literally saying that to the whole entire world. Not only that, you're saying in countries, a person, they could just storm into their Senate or cabinet or whatever, because we had a coup d'etat in my country, and I disavow it. And some of the members of the coup are still alive today, but they're still gunning for their ass. But an coup in a country's capital, or attempted insurrection, attempted coup, is a no-no. Is a no-no. You know how the laws in America are, and you know how strict American law can be, and you know how serious you can get gunned down just like that. You can get gunned down. There was some guy who tried to crash a plane into the Oval Office. Remember that? And a number of other crazy ass fucking white people. Shit. Okay. Always some crazy ass white person. No, never a crazy ass black person. Because what? They're gonna gun your ass down before that even happened. But guess what? Guess what? If you say, oh, Joe and Jill, they could just storm the Capitol building and kill people and occupy the Senate and the Congress. Well, guess what? You just open the door for any motherfucker to do that. It don't matter their race, creed, or class. And that's the bullshit they need to understand right now. There's a fucking precedent right now going on. And if everybody knows, oh, the Capitol, man, I can take the Capitol tomorrow. If people think that that can be done, they're gonna do it. And what's the consequence of that is, you know, a lot of white America thinks it's they're just white people, man. They're just misguided. No, motherfucker. Because tomorrow, it could be the Asian Americans. It could be the Black Americans. It could be the Latino Americans taken hostage. Washington, D.C. So stop the fucking bullshit. Stop it. Okay, I remember when the Black Panthers, they came out with their weapons and their guns, and they were at the Capitol, and these people were incarcerated. They were incarcerated. And now I hear congressional people and senators talking crazy in the Capitol. Talking crazy in the Capitol, talking about all these misgivings in governance when not one piece of shit happened. They come up with trumped up charges that have no substance. None. I can shut down each and every one easy. So when I see that bullshit happening, you know what I say? I say, listen, you're setting the precedent. Let me see how you're going to handle that precedent. Because how they handle this shit right now, and then like people just going to storm out there, do that shit. No. You round up everybody. And the FBI, the CIA, grill these motherfuckers and put them in prison. Some people ain't going back home to their families. Go home. Fuck you, Donald Trump. And your ass is now grass. You public enemy number one now. Now you are public enemy number one because you just allowed a coordinated insurrection. I remember Donald Trump saying, stand by to the people. So fuck you. And fuck you. And fuck you. Because right now, I don't give a fuck what anybody say. This motherfucker is public enemy number one, and get his ass out of there. Get his ass out of there and slam him into federal prison. Let him do some hard labor. This motherfucker don't know what it is. He don't know what consequences is. Fucking destroy him. Destroy his ass. Fuck him. Okay? And I don't care. Any sympathizer for this group of people, get the fuck out of America. Get the fuck out of America. You don't belong in America. Go to Lithuania, go to Russia, go to any one of those countries, and that's where you belong. You belong up in there because you like autocracy. You like autocratic rule. You don't like democracy. Fuck you. Get the fuck out of America. Cause this shit is no. This is a no. Okay. As much as the politicians played the fool, but finally they were able to agree at least on giving something to the American people, even though it wasn't the $2,000 checks, which will come. The direct payments will come. That's for sure. Okay, to the American people. A bit late, but they should actually trump it up. Go 4,000. Fuck it. Go 5,000. Pay out everybody. But at the end of the day, this much I will say. This bullshit that just went down, all right, that ain't acceptable. In the Capitol, there's no way a motherfucker's getting into the Congress or the Senate just like that. You don't, and you protesting outside, and they don't have no standby for that shit. What the fuck is going on? So, some of those officers going to have to do some explaining. And they're going to have to kick some of their motherfucking asses out of there. All right? Because one thing about America, they capture everything on tape. They got the intelligence. And while the people who are leading the intelligence, the people leading the Department of Justice right now, and the people leading the other departments that are weakening America right now so that the enemies could attack them, because this is what's going on. They're trying to weaken America so that an out of American president can attack them and destroy them. And Donald Trump has facilitated that. And he's working hand in hand with the Russians. Okay? He is an enemy of America. And if they haven't realized that by now, it's literally now been displayed and handed to you so you can see it. Get his motherfucking ass out of there. Secret Service, you're sworn to protect the president. Get a double for Trump, Get rid of his ass. Get rid of him. I'm just joking. Now, we're going to let the process play out. There's only a couple more days, but I'm going to say this, though. It's going to be costly. This guy's desperate, and he's moving along the lines of an autocratic ruler. And this is serious. This is very, very serious. And they might have cleaned up the insurrection by now, and a lot of people have been moved out, and some people have been arrested and all of that. But even so, somebody got shot inside that building. And I don't know if that person's dead. I heard some people were dead. Some people got shot inside of the capital city. It reminded me of Batman v Superman a little bit in how Lex Luthor moved. And Trump be even like Lex Luthor. But the point is, at the end of the day, every action this motherfucker did, he's going to be held accountable. He's going to be held accountable. He has brought disgrace to the office of the President of the United States. And I'm going to speak on behalf of people outside the United States and people of the world and say, there's nothing we wouldn't do to kill this motherfucker right now. The world is so fuming right now. The majority of people who are of the world, knowing Joe Biden, such an admirable guy, and this motherfucker's still there, doing a lot of havoc, not just for America, but for the world. A lot of people right now would say, let me send in my mercenary and kill this motherfucker for you. Because right now, a lot of people right now just want to kill him. That's what they really want to do. I'll be honest with you. After this act of violence towards a democratic process, towards the Constitution of the United States of America. This is not an attack on any one given individual.
You have to understand this insurrection was a direct insurrection on democracy by a minority of people. They do not even represent the democracy because they are a minority. And it is a desperate attack on the democratic process because as it was being carried out, it was attacked. And the individual named Donald Trump has been the instrument of trying to destroy it. It is literally the heart of the democracy that he has attacked. Involuntarily, Vladimir Putin has attacked to try to expose it as dirty by trumped up lies. 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 So it would not be surprising that people outside of the United States of America watching this right now wish Donald Trump rots in hell at this very particular time, that his limbs and his internal organs would start to decay on him as we speak. It is not something that right now people outside of the United States of America are applauding. It is heinous, it is guttural, it is low, it is demeaning, and it is dehumanizing to see because the rest of the world has thrived off of democracy. The rest of the world has profited from democracy, freedom of speech to say whatever the hell you want to say. And to see a individual hold hostage an office of service for that individual's personal gain versus the purpose of the office shows the height of nepotism and the thing we all despise. He has embodied the absolute thing we all despise. He has been able to embody nepotism and greed and power hoarding. He literally embodies that, like the demon known as the devil. And this is the very thing we hate about politics, the corruption of it. And what he embodies is exactly that. He said he wanted to drain the swamp, but we never asked, where are you draining it to? And the answer is, well, I'm draining it into me. That's his answer. I'll drain the swamp for you. He told the truth. Into myself. So I watched this, and what angers me and what gets me very, 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 very mad has nothing to do with race. Even though that son of a bitch is a racist to his heart. Has nothing to do with race. It has to do with the literal fabric of what democracy is and what representational democracy is. So that's a republic. It's not just a democracy. It's a republic where there's representation, and it's known as a democratic republic. It's unique in how it does its representation, and the process was playing out even though certain people were not conforming to the process per se. There are rules and procedures, and so Congress and the Senate were carrying out their due process. But the thing about it that really is reprehensible is the fact, and I'm going to be 100% in this, the same way how an explosion happened down in Miss Tennessee,
or Mississippi, I think it's Tennessee. And they were like, how come the CIA and FBI, who have this information, they allowed this to happen? Similarly, I'm going to say, how did law enforcement allow this to happen? How did the National Guard allow this to happen? Because what you're saying, if you can allow an insurrection like this to happen, that people actually get onto the floor of Congress and the Senate, what's to stop several other insurrections from happening in several other states, in several other places? What's to stop that from happening? So I don't understand where the miscommunication came from, but some people need a clean shop. If you're not on board to protect and serve, and you're not on board, first of all, to protect and serve the people who represent the country, these are valuable people. We're talking about congressmen, we're talking about senators. If you're not there to protect them, then it means people can storm the White House whenever they want to. This is the precedent you're leading. They can storm the White House whenever you want to. So Donald Trump right now, he ain't safe. They can storm the White House and take him out, or at least have possession of the White House. This is what you're saying. Effectively, Congress is in session and you have protests outside, but you allow the protesters to storm the White House? How is that possible? I'm sorry, Congress and the Senate? How is that possible? How is that possible? Because if that is possible, then it means no area is safe. The White House can be stormed. The Senates and the Congresses, the Senate, of respective states can be stormed. Any political office can just be stormed. Any legal place, Supreme Court, the appellate courts, the justice courts can be stormed. Any political offices of any political candidates can be stormed. This is what you're effectively saying. That the fabric, the lawmakers, the fabric of the democracy can be stormed. But this is the precedent you're setting. So how the hell they did not stop these people from getting into? They should never have been able to step foot into Congress and into the Senate armed with weapons and militia. That should never have happened. That should never have happened, that people were gunned down in the process of that happening. That should never have happened. I do not care if they're the Proud Boy. I don't care who you are. I don't care what militia you are. That should never happen. At any time. At any time. Because if it can happen at any time, right now Donald Trump isn't safe. He's not safe. And other groups, in seeing the success, especially other hate groups or other groups which are desperate to get attention, will attempt the same thing. And guess what? They don't have to be white militia. They could be any kind of militia. I don't understand why this is common sense. And I always knew when I was in DC, I saw all the intelligence community. I see how they don't play. Intelligence don't play. They don't play. So to see this happening means that either your intelligence is very weak, or that your somebody's been allowed to stand aside and allow this process to happen for political gain. This has been allowed, but this should never be allowed. You should never allow America to look vulnerable. And now you have. And so I am very, very surprised to see this happen, especially in DC. If this happened in some state, like maybe, one of the marginal states, this would be different. This happened in the capital state. Oh, and there's serious ramifications for that.
So if they don't take decisive, swift, and strong action on this, I guarantee you many other groups are going to try the same thing. And they're not just going to DC, they're going to target states. And some of the states you just never thought would be targeted. We saw what Tennessee, I believe it was. Tennessee was targeted with an explosive bomb. And I can guarantee you the guy who did the explosives has something to do with the political environment. And we can guess which side he would be on. And even though he blew himself up like like one of those jihadists that everybody was talking about, he blew himself up. Guess what? They could say he's insane. No, he ain't sane. He's not insane. It's a test to wreak homegrown terror on American soil. Biden and his cabinet and his regime is in power. This is what they intend to do. But if they're going to do it, I hope they understand. If they're going to do such terror acts, I hope they understand shoes on the other foot. And they're on the receiving end of it. And they can't say nothing about it because they're the ones that started it. They're the ones that set the precedent. They talk about, oh, Black Lives Matter and the leftists and Antifa. But who's the one creating the terrorist act storming Washington, D.C.? It ain't Antifa. It ain't Black Lives Matter. It's right wing, extreme right wingers. They've constantly been the people who are behind homegrown terror. And I don't give Antifa a slide. I'm not gonna give them a slide either because they dangerous. But the point is, these have been the people who have been continuously. And now we get this, the swamp is being drained. Don't get me wrong. We seeing now how swampy it is. And guess what? Some of these people are from the Everglades, like in Florida. They from the swamp. No disrespect to some of them, because it got good people everywhere. That's the problem with it. So I can't label all of them, because they're good people in the swamp, in the Everglades, in Florida. They're good people. I know. And they all look the same. The bad ones and the good ones, they look the same. But they're good people out there. Some of them are related to family members who are doing heinous shit and plotting and planning. But just because I am your brother or sister does not mean I share your views at all. So sometimes husband and wife, there's all kinds of going on out here. But my point anyway is this. I'm not going to lump all the people together. But see those ones down in the Capitol? Get them. Get them. They must not be allowed to be successful in what they're doing. There is no room for insurrection. You can disagree how much you want to. You can protest how much you want to. That's America. That's freedom of expression. But once you get to being violent, fuck no. Once you get to being violent, fuck no. And that's where I don't really care what happens to you. Especially when you have no grounds for what you are doing. You're just emotionally swayed and you're coming in with your guns. Guess what? If you're going to bring guns, then the people got to bring guns to protect themselves. So I have no problem shooting your ass and killing you, because guess what? I have to protect myself. And that's what happened. They shot first. They went aggressively down to the Capitol. All of them, some of them didn't know what it was getting their ass in. But then the others who knew and understood what was orchestrating, they got into it. Boxing Monster, an attack on the White House, an act of terrorism. Where's the Secret Service protecting the White House? Exactly. It's not the White House. I don't think the White House has been attacked. I think it's Congress. And the problem with it is the White House is okay. So you have the head of state. He is like the president is like the figurehead of democracy, right? So an attack on the president is like an attack on democracy, the office of the president. This is why nobody has tried to kill Donald Trump, because in a democratic system, you don't just kill a figurehead. You don't do that. Okay, it's precious. He represents something. That's why you don't see me talking negative about him until this moment. I am unhinged when it comes to that. Similarly, even as precious or even more precious is Congress and the Senate. Congress and the Senate, because see, this is the height, this is the epitome of the democracy. What I mean by that is, in each state, and this is how the democracy works. In each state, we have a hierarchy, right? We have the mayors, the governors, and then we have the secretaries of state, and then we have our little senatorial setting, right? That's the legislature, and then we have the appellate courts. We have all the courts and all of that. They're under it, and then we have the Supreme Courts, the courts that reside over the other courts. That's how the system works. But that's for the states and their runnings. To integrate the states with one another, this is where Washington, D.C. comes in play. The interactions of states with each other is what is called the federal government. So the federal government oversees the local governments or the state governments. But the way how the arrangement is that the federal government makes generic laws which the state governments now can interpret how they so best see fit, and they can either adopt or reject those laws. So that's the beauty of the democracy. The democracy is beautiful in the sense that what Congress and the Senate is supposed to be is sort of the facilitators of state-to-state agreements, understanding each state's situation. So it is the highest level of the democracy in the sense that the Constitution of the United States, united, the whole idea of being united comes under the Constitution. The Constitution glues the United States together. They are under agreement of how they would engage with one another. But since the states themselves can't go all the way up to Washington, D.C., for example, they have representatives of them, which represent them, which are there in the D.C. area, negotiating on their behalf with each other in passing sweeping general consensus, what we call laws, onto each of the states, which each individual state can either accept or reject the federal law based on their given situation. All right. So this is how it goes. So this is why Congress and the Senate are the most sacred thing, because this is where the figurehead, which is the president, he does not have he is not like a king. He doesn't just make legislation. Legislature is created and made and so on based on this system in which Congress and the Senate make these things, not the president. All of these executive acts that are signed in by the president, that sort of circumvents the law of Congress and the Senate. Congress and the Senate are supposed to make the legislature, are supposed to make the laws. The executive orders that are done by the president are always temporary. Okay, so let's say there's an urgent matter, for example, the president can execute an executive order in the interim while Congress and the Senate are debating and rationalizing how they will proceed. That's what an executive order is for. It's a very temporal thing that the president can do, of which Barack Obama had used the executive order a couple of times, and now Donald Trump has abused that power to the nth degree and tried to bully the Senate and Congress into doing his bidding, which is not supposed to be. Senate. Yeah, so I was saying that
this is where the president plays a critical role in the whole process, right? The president, whatever's agreed by Congress, it goes to the president's desk where he either signs it or he vetoes it. Okay? So that's where the buck stops with the president in that respect, following certain guidelines. So ultimately, at the end of the day, the president also can have initiatives and whatever that they want to pass bills in Congress, etc. And so he kind of directs the direction in which things go. So it's very important that people understand that the legislature, what is happening in Congress right now, where they are validating the votes and stuff, that process needs to be sacred. It's very sacred. So just like if you were to attack the president, the White House, that is dangerous. You should not be attacking Congress and the Senate, especially when it's in operation. That's a no-no. So all that has happened are acts of terrorism. These are federal crimes, and they're all acts of terrorism. And Boxing Monster, first of all, as far as I know, the White House wasn't attacked. It was the Senate and Congress, and those are acts of terrorism. And I don't understand. I'm agreeing with you, Boxing Monster. I do not understand why why the FBI, CIA, the police force, and the National Guard didn't shut that thing down. That should never have happened. They should never have been able to enter Congress by storming it. That's never supposed to have happened. And it reminds me of something I've seen actually in insurrections in third world countries where such action actually happened. It actually proceeded exactly that way. So, that's a coup d'etat. And that's an act of terrorism. And all parties involved are subject to, those are federal crimes. They're subject to federal prosecution. Now, the thing about it is, how this needs to be conducted needs to be conducted in a very sensible way. This is chess, not checkers. I'm not gonna say the details on which I think need to be happening, but this much I can say to you. These people who have done this also should be marked. In addition, their names must be recorded by the general public. They must know who these people are. And in addition, to this sedition that has happened, the FBI, the CIA, as well as law enforcement should arrest these people. They should be arrested. The people who have committed acts of murder or shot and killed people in this insurrection should be arrested. Okay? Now, I don't want to say any more about that, the issue, but I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys can, if you play chess, you understand what the next couple of chess moves would be. But I would suggest very strongly that you put your rooks into position to deal with the knights that are coming. Let me put it that way. Because there's an L-shaped attack that's going to happen. It's not just a straight-on attack by a bishop. It's going to be an L-shaped attack. That's the play. Because the key power piece on that board at the point in time is looking to power up certain pawns on the board. That's the goal, to be able to checkmate the king. So that's the best way for me to put it in a very symbolic way. I'm going to say it like that. But I understand what this attempted insurrection is about. It's a test to carry out the act at a later time. And what it means is, if they don't know how to handle this situation here, we will see further situations like this in the future. So how they deal with this situation here, this is not an isolated situation. This is a situation that is a it is a situation that can lead to a precedent if not handled appropriately. This is not something where you cuddle these people and say kumbaya. No. Once you breach federal law, you're no longer a friend or ally of the state. If Snowden, who gave away classified information, can't enter the country because he will be put into federal prison, then these guys who just did an act of treason, there is no get out of jail free card for them. The severity of federal law and the severity of local and state law should be upon them. And remember, they not just violated federal law, they also violated state law of Washington, D.C. So I'm just saying that to let people know any other further moves or actions to try to protect them will be met on the federal level as well as on the state level, because they cross state lines. The cool thing about law enforcement is it is three-tiered. It is state, county, as well as federal. Similarly, because you have state, county, and federal laws. And so as a result of that, do understand that the violation of the county laws as well as the state laws must be looked at on the boards in addition to the federal laws, so that perchance one of these indictments is somehow, some way nullified. There are two more. Like I said, it's chestnut checkers, and I'm always looking down the board over the possible ways in which my enemy can try to get an edge on me. And I do believe they're going to try and move the knights, and the rooks must be in position to counter. All right. Shout out, by the way, to Boxing Monster. Shout out to Mark S. I know you guys are very concerned about what is happening. And this has nothing to do, let me just say abundantly clear. This has nothing to do with race. It has nothing to do with gender. It has nothing to do with economic status, up or down. This is just a direct attack on the system, the democratic process. And that is what you saw. And that is a no. I don't care who you are. You could be the most wealthy groups in the country. No one is above the law. No one. I don't care if you're the president. I don't care who you are. No one's above the law. Now, the president has a certain degree of immunity right now. You know? But I can say very frankly, no one's above the law, and there are consequences to actions, and he will have to deal with the consequences of his treasonous actions, and that is treason. If I were members of the Senate or Congress, first thing that should be enacted is impeachment, and he should be impeached, and it should be all universally agreed upon. And then the next step should be to allow the courts
to the state courts to indict him and get him shipped away to prison. That's how it should really go. But for that to happen, the democratic process has to go through. There needs to be universal agreement that he should be impeached, and the impeachment should begin immediately based on this particular action and based on other actions he has done in the last couple of days. So, but they don't have time for that, but they should, because what he has just done is directly attack Congress, and he's directly attacked the Senate. And he does not give a fuck about none of those senators or none of those congressmen. Okay? He doesn't care about any of them. It doesn't matter. The ones who are vehemently supporting him, he don't care about their ass. And so the attack on, and that's why he's a plague right now, and they need to get rid of him. The sooner the better. All right? Because he's going to try this stunt again. All right? And like I said before, this particular action that happened is one in which I am surprised that the reaction to this was not done appropriately. It is the reaction I'm looking at what happened, and it was allowed to happen. By now it has been quelled. If it hasn't been quelled, I'm surprised. But by now it should be quelled, and all those people, I don't really care if Donald Trump said go home or not. He done already triggered the initial and coordinated to some degree what happened. So it don't really matter. He's guilty by association of what happened. And so I don't give a fuck about him. I don't give a fuck about him. I don't give a fuck about him. You understand my language? You want to understand? I don't give a fuck about him. I hope that they prosecute his ass and they put him away. And I don't really care. I don't care how that he was the president of the United States. Too bad. That was the worst president anyway. Prosecute his ass and get him out of there. He needs to be an example that the guy with the highest office in the land can go to jail. He can go to prison. We had a prime minister here who went to prison for the corruption and the tremendous heinous acts he did. He ended up in prison. So no one's above the law. No one. No one. And so it would be a shame. It would be a dark page on America's history, but he must be made an example. He must not be allowed to get out of this without any consequence. He must be punished for what he did. He must be made an example so that Americans understand it doesn't matter if you're president. We all know the legal system never forgives and it never forgets. They will find you and they will hunt you down and they will prosecute you. And he must not be allowed under any circumstances to escape the law. And anyone who does any heinous acts or criminal acts, whether he's pardoned them or not, must not be allowed to escape prosecution, whether it's through state or federal law. And the beautiful thing about someone being pardoned is when they bring you up on the stand and begin to interrogate you, you have given away your Fifth Amendment rights, which means they can go into any, let me make it abundantly clear, they can go into any aspect of your life and ask you anything. Just so you know. So the way how the laws of the United States of America are made are such that when you think you got a loophole, you ain't got no fucking loophole. They gonna get you. And all those people who weakened America, they're gonna pay. All of them. They're gonna pay. And there ain't no fucking pardon in hell gonna stop them from getting justice on their ass. Okay? There's a difference. Don't fuck with America like that. Don't fuck with America like that. Don't make them look like they're buffoons. Don't make them look like they're clowns. Don't make them, because they the leaders of the new world right now. Don't fuck with America like that. Oh, and you better believe it's going to go all the way up to the Kremlin. They're going to get them. All of them. All of them. Because Barack Obama was coming for Putin's ass. He was coming for him. And then Trump came after. And Putin did a lot of damage, but they still coming for his ass. Oh, they coming for his ass. They coming for your ass, Putin. You ain't getting away. So try your best now, because you're going to be doing that dance very soon. And you ain't taking care of your people. We hear COVID just overswarming your ass right now up in Russia. You ain't even want to take the vaccine. So, motherfucker, your ass is grass. You will be replaced. Just so people know. Oh, no. See, it don't work like that. Everything has consequences. You don't fuck with America. You don't fuck with America like that. So, believe you me, there's a lot of people chomping on the bit to get into the action. And that is the thing that these guys just stirred up. They stirred up a hornet's nest. You saw what the voters did. You saw what the voters did in Georgia. Georgia is not a blue state, and it's still not a blue state to this day. But that just indicates the temperature and the climate and how much people have been called to action. Trump just, he dog whistled, but he didn't realize what kind of dogs he just whistled to. See, he thought he was dog whistling to his people. No, homie. You just dog whistled to the whole entire of the United States of America. And now you just attack the democracy? Oh no, that's where all Americans draw the line. That's where the bullshit ends. That's where the bullshit ends. And the swamp will be drained. Because now we're seeing politicians who know better playing games inside of Congress and Senate. Mock those motherfuckers. Mock them. Mock them. Mock them. They're going to sell the soul of the nation for their political careers and paychecks. Mock those motherfuckers. Mock them good. Because there are going to be some indictments on their ass very soon. You think that listen, man, you don't play with America like that. You don't play games with America. See, if they had done something that had to do with factions of America or pieces of America, it's totally different. But when you fuck with the core soul of what the country runs on, don't think you're just going to get away with that. It don't work like that. It don't work like that. Because people died. People gave their soul and lives and pledged allegiance to that system. That's where you fucked up. That's the difference. Had nothing to do. See, some of these people making it an issue about, black votes and bullshit like that. That's minor. That's minor. It's a minor issue. Black votes, okay, people getting enfranchised, everybody get a chance to vote, everybody gets their chance or whatever, that's cool. But see, at the end of the day, what they don't understand, a lot of people don't understand, is that is not what happened. See, now, if they had attacked the White House, Explain some things to people. If they had attacked the White House, it's heavily guarded. That would have been dangerous as well. That's horrible. But they didn't choose to attack the White House. They didn't choose to attack the figurehead of democracy. They went into Congress and the Senate where democracy was actually being enacted and attacked that. Fuck out of here. Oh, hell no. No, you don't. No, you don't. You do not attack the institution of democracy designed for the democratic process to be played out. And the instruments that represented you and your views were on display. Like everybody can see what these dudes were doing. Their so-called protest was being represented in the democratic process by the minority groups, because they are a minority. But they actually got a voice. Congress allowed them to have a voice. The Senate allowed them to have a voice. So it wasn't like they were disenfranchised and they had no voice. There was a voice of representation there. Fallacious as it was. So now that this minority, and they are a minority, was allowed to get as far as to sit in the seat of Congress and the Senate, guarantee you it gives other minorities hope that if they need to, they can violate the fucking law and go into the seat of Congress and the Senate. That is the prayer. That is the that is the precedent that they have set. Y'all done fucked up. You think only white people could do that? Motherfucker, anybody could do that. That's what you're saying. Donald Trump already set a horrible precedent for what a president can do. You think the president of the United States will just be some white guy with orange hair? No, motherfucker. Think ahead. The president could be a woman who, let's go there. A woman that's black and gay. Doing whatever the fuck she wants. Now y'all can't do shit. Because she has the system hostage. How you like that? How you like that? How you like that? Because you motherfuckers ain't thinking ahead. You just checker players. So this is why Donald Trump must be prosecuted, and why the people who did this heinous act must be prosecuted. There is an arena for them to express their opinion. And you know what's the crazy thing about this? When the football players kneeled at the national anthem, I will never forget that. Respectfully, non-violently. There was this huge uproar through the United States of America when they were protesting police violence, which proved to be, to this day, a real thing. In fact, one of the gentlemen who kneeled still does not have a job in the NFL. But a motherfucker could go up into Washington, D.C., storm into Congress, storm into the Senate on false information given to them. And they can make it all the way to there without consequence? Fuck no. No. The buck stops there. And so what has happened today must be handled swiftly, concisely, and directly. Because if it's not handled properly, there will be, I assure you as clear as day, there will be other incidents where other practitioners will not be white, look militant, and they will do acts which will jeopardize the system in much more heinous ways. So, the people trying to destroy this system have been working arduously under Donald Trump to make it happen. The people with the knowledge that they are destroying the system know why they are doing so. The politicians, the swamp-like politicians. We saw the purging of Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue. Swamp. They're gone. There are other politicians in the Senate and in Congress who have exposed themselves. And the American people will purge these people. They don't want these people represented. Now, the minority people who have stormed up, I want you to see, because by association, we can see who they represented. These people, these politicians who sold their soul and democracy for clout and chase over the most reprehensible of the group of Republicans, the extreme right-wingers, the extremists. I am not saying everybody that went down to D.C. who were Republicans, who believed this garbage, were extreme right-wingers, extremely violent people. Some of the people went down there not understanding exactly what was going to go down. But a lot of other people have. Those people who have gone down there and did what they did, every last one of them should be rounded up. And the people who have gone to DC, into Congress, and spread these lies that they have spread, and the people who also went down into the Senate, they are fewer in number, and also spread the lies that they spread. These people must be removed from political office as soon as possible. Mark them. And what has happened to David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler must be done to them. They must be purged. And no one of like-mindedness should replace them. This kind of ethics, this kind of mindset must be purged. Fake outrage and trumped up charges which have no basis in truth must not be allowed to bring the fruits of such to Capitol Hill. There is something called freedom of expression, but you cannot have, freedom of expression has limits. Am I free to express myself by murdering people, by killing people and saying, oh, I'm just freely expressing myself? No. Okay, so that's as much as I'll say for now.
I've spent about an hour 27 minutes speaking about this. This is something which I truly believe people should be ready and able at any time to literally condemn. I don't care what your issue was. I don't care what your issue was. There is no pardon for this. There is no rationalization of this. That is an insurrection, a coup d'etat. And that must not be allowed to go without consequences. So, and Donald J. Trump's responsible for it and must be held accountable for every single crime he has done. He has committed a number of crimes already and prosecuted with criminal action. And while he may pardon himself on the federal level, he will still be held accountable as they see fit once they examine the law. But he must not be allowed, because this is a precedent. It must, if you're going to have a precedent, you must make sure that you have taken the appropriate action within that precedent. See, it's okay, excuse me, for someone to try something on the federal or state level. See, it's like kids in a school. They try things. But you must be able to have the appropriate response and action for what they're attempting to do. And in this case, strong action. This is how they want to conduct strong action against Russia. For meddling in the elections, we're dealing with the intelligence, we're hacking into systems. Strong action is not required right now and right here and now. Very strong action. And united strong action. Nothing else will do. A weak response will result in the repetition of this precedent for sure. And these are tests so that by the time Trump is about to leave office or has to leave office, they will try an insurrection again. They will try. If they don't try multiple insurrections across the different states. So this is a warning. And it's very important that this is treated as such. And swift and strong action must be taken now. I'm what you need, and I hope you guys are having a good day. I will be speaking with you guys again, but I'm going to go watch the news. This is something in which we must all, as people of the world or citizens of America, we should all right now condemn and demand that strong action be taken on those who were involved in this insurrection. And just like how the whole world went up in an uproar with Black Lives Matter and the whole wide world spoke on it, now it's not enough for American voices to speak up. The world needs to speak out. You, me, everyone else needs to speak out about this. This is my position and my stance on this issue as a member of the world. And I want to be put on the record for saying this. That's why I spoke out in this arena on YouTube.
So all the people across the world in the United States of America need to stand very strongly against this and let them feel your numbers. Let them feel how many of you there are, because they are minority. Let them feel who you are. They're not a majority. Let them know how Americans truly feel across the different states, across the nation, and let them know how you feel the international public about this as well. Do not stay silent. Do not let them feel that you are some way, somehow condoning this. Speak out now, united. This is unacceptable, and this must be punished. Period. Let them know that bullshit will not fly here. And what you need. Peace.